Your 8-minute question and answer period will now begin. If your team was given $25,000 right now, what would you use it for?
Well,
Go ahead.
well, originally with our three projects, we loved how we were able to push through because of the grants that we got. I feel like the 25,000 could be used more for outreach. We want to make sure we impact as many people as possible. And so the 25,000 would be reaching out to people, getting more industry professionals or more people to really help us hone in what our sessions are all about. So 25,000 does mean a lot.
Yeah, I think, especially for our program this year, we were mainly focused on university students, but I think it would be great if we had this possibility to also extend our programs to people who are currently graduated or people who are even younger, so high schoolers. And I think 25,000 would probably help us do it.
What is an example of a hurdle you faced because of COVID-19 and how did you overcome it?
Well, I felt that there were a lot of times trying to connect with speakers to come. Um, it was just that it was really hard to balance their schedules. I guess during COVID, um, the work life experience is a little bit more skewed. So speakers for me was one of the issues. Another glaring issue was that there weren't as many participants as we would have liked. We wanted to expand more, but even amongst us university students, we realized that people are so stressed out with their school. There's um a lot of people who were trying to juggle school and trying to come into the events, and they weren't able to do it. I feel like if people were to see us in person, it would have been a lot better for them to be like, hey, this is really interesting. And it's really hard to say no to someone face to face. That's what I also realized too.
Yeah. And also, if I may add, during the COVID, many university students moved to different countries, moved back home. So for us, deciding, for example, about timing of our events, preferably we would do it after school, so after around 5 p.m. But then we are eliminating and cutting the possibility of international students to attend those meetings. So kind of deciding what timing would be best to fit not only Canadian students, but also international students was challenging. And the challenge was happening because of the COVID and because of the current pandemic situation.
Do you have plans to scale your projects? Why and how?
Yes. Um, our projects are so small right now. I feel like because we were only able to do it in Zoom sessions, I feel that more and more people should have been able to benefit from this. We were talking about mental health. We were talking about, career. These are topics that youth really care about and participants really do care about. And so I believe that if we were to expand it to try to get more people interested in it, it would have been a great thing. I also noticed in my section, for instance, that yes, we did have university students, we did have like international students as well. It was hard to juggle, as Sophia said, but I really hope to try to connect to people who are not in school because it is a privilege to be in school. And so I feel like if we went to community centers or if we went to other locations, we would have been able to grasp and get more people to come. I feel like the more people came, the more likely speakers would have been able to be like, okay, wow, you have such a big crowd, we can definitely come. And so I would say that having more participants would have led to more speakers being interested in the event and coming into the event.
And also for mental health, throughout this year with Farah, other project director, we really realized that for mental health, financial literacy is going hand to hand. So we were planning to expand our program by including financial literacy workshops and by educating people, because we found out that in many cases, when people don't have the knowledge about financial literacy, their mental health issues are also increasing. So for what we are planning to do is link both of those and provide more resources on financial literacy in terms of mental health.
What existing resources has your team leveraged throughout the development of your projects?
So in my instance, we were lucky to connect with Talent Link. Talent Link is another group in Singapore, not necessarily part of Enactus, but they help they help youth try to get speakers. And so that was really key. We needed as many options of a speaker as possible because we wanted to see how many sessions we could do. And so for us, using Talent Link really leveraged us compared to others who had to check for a speaker one at a time.
Yeah, and for mental health, we were able to connect with a social media organization called 21 Ontario. And it helped us, especially for our High School Connect program, which is under our Better Together program about mental health. It allowed us to connect to high school students because that was really challenging to us. We have a lot of resources related to university students. However, when it comes to high school students, our connections were lacking. So by contacting and collaborating with this platform, it allowed us to connect to high school students and bring the resources and informations directly to them.
How does your team define success?
Wow, big question. So to me, success is being able to create a session together, have the event happen, and get as many people. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to get 100 people. Our point is to try to at least impact one person, and then we go from there because that one person is going to share his or her, experience, and then it passes on. So success to me is being able to change another person's mindset. For us, like for my particular team, we were doing trying to find jobs. And so a lot of youth were feeling demoralized because they weren't able to find jobs because of COVID. And by being able to change their mindset and say, hey, here, just like improve on your resume, LinkedIn, just your professional profile, they would do that and they would be really interested. And then the fact is that they were also going through the entrepreneurship route because we had 2 sessions on entrepreneurship. And so a lot of youth are really excited about that because they wanted to do a side hustle.
Yeah, I agree. For us, for mental health.
Your time has now expired. Thank you, Enactus University of Toronto, Mississauga.